you had a very good weekend.
Oh, yes. The
soup you're talking about, what kind of soup?
Oh, goat light soup.
Okay, no, goat light soup. Taking it the next day, it's not the same as palm nut soup that is a day old.
Oh, of course. As for palm nut soup,
there is a certain magic that comes onto palm nut soup when it is a day old.
I tell you, you're right on that.
Yeah. By the way, Winston, my next play, which would premiere on June 25th at the National Theatre, I Slept with Your Wife. My most ambitious play yet, Winston, and the most interesting.
Yes, this one, I will come and watch you. But Uncle, I was looking for the code that you normally give so that we buy in advance. This time around is not here. I said,
No, this time we're selling the physical tickets in the outlet. So you will find tickets at Joy, for instance. So you don't have any excuse at all.
No, I'll be there.
Just 3 steps from your studio, and you get a ticket to buy.
I have to.
Now, Winston, get this. The whole play is set in a plane.
Oh, okay.
On a flight. On a flight that gets into trouble. And that is where the confessions begin to come. I slept with your wife.
Hey, Uncle, the assembly. Confessions on a plane.
On a plane that is in trouble.
I tell you.
I see. You're going to see the plane. So the bonus of this play is the aeroplane that will be on stage. And so you're going to see the aeroplane. You're going to feel the turbulence. You're going to be with them in the flight. It's on another level. Winston, I tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Winston, my regards to Batakari. I've seen him in his Batakari.
Oh, yes, he's around.
I've missed him. I haven't spoken with him in a long time, and so Sammy, get in touch one of these days. And then I also like to acknowledge the debt I owe to Dennis Ofer, a member of the team.
Yeah, fair boy.
He is the one who has now made it technically possible for me to be able to join you every morning.
Sure. Sammy says he will come to the office at Osu.
He won't come. Don't mind him. He wouldn't even know the way. He's forgotten the way. He has been here. He hasn't been here in a long time. I don't think he will find a way.
Well, he says he will find the way. Okay. Sammy Odame. He says what? What boutique?
Mazara.
Oh, Uncle, you heard his voice, right? Mazara Boutique. So he says he'll be there.
He doesn't know the place. I'm nowhere near that. Listen, I was 28 years old when I learned to drive. I was working with Asempa Publishers then, and I was moving from the editorial department to head the marketing department.
Okay.
And I needed to be driving. Asempa in those days was a very small company with Reverend Peter Baker, a retired British soldier turned Presbyterian minister, as a boss. Peter believed in running a small but efficient company, and so he did not see the point in hiring a driver. He insisted that if any official of the company needed to run errands or go on an assignment for the company, that person should drive himself. Now, the head of marketing was also the main salesperson for the company, and so he had to be on the move all the time. And so I had to learn to drive. Peter was not going to hire a driver for me, and which suited me just fine because I was dying to drive. I had always yearned to drive, except that I had never been in a place where I had access to a car. And so I welcomed the opportunity to drive with great enthusiasm. Peter decided to teach me to drive himself. In those days, you could learn to drive only with a car with a manual transmission. And that was the kind of car Peter used to teach me to drive. He was thorough. And for my first driving lesson, he gave me a whole lecture on the maintenance of the car and checking the fluids.
Okay.
Then he gave me another lecture on the pedals in the car and what each did and how and when to use each. Then it was the gear and how it worked and the relationship between the gear and the clutch. Then He made me sit behind the steering wheel and said, "Start the car." Winston, you can imagine my excitement. Finally, I was sitting behind the steering wheel of a car and about to drive. I wanted to be able to tell my friends about how many kilometers I had covered and at what speed and things like that. Like the typical beginner, I thought that driving was distance covered. The more distance you covered, the more you got to call yourself a driver. Well, Peter did not see things that way. He said, "James, driving is about control. Driving is about taking off and stopping when you want and need to. How many kilometers you cover is not that important."
Sure.
He also said, driving is about safety, your own and that of the other road users. So let's get the basics right. And then he proceeded to teach me the right way to start a car and take off. He said, "James, there is a routine you should observe before you start the engine and take off." And he drilled that routine into me. You get behind the steering wheel, put the seatbelt on, adjust the seat to suit you, check the mirrors, ensure that the handbrake is on and you are in neutral. Now depress the clutch and start the car. Check the mirrors again, and if all is clear, now shift into first gear, release the handbrake, and take off. Of course, the first few attempts were disappointing. The car either jerked forward because I had not depressed the clutch fully, or the car stalled because I had taken my legs off the clutch too quickly, or I had not pressed down on the accelerator hard enough. For one whole week, Peter focused his attention on getting me to helping me to get the basics right. Start the car, take off, stop. Start the car, take off, stop. Start the car, take off, stop. Now, I was happy I was learning to drive, but Winston, I was not happy that he was not allowing me to cover long distances. For Peter, driving was not distance, but control. And if he was going to entrust one of his company vehicles into my hands, then he was going to make sure that I had control of the vehicle and I had also mastered the technical competence of a driver. On the second week, he drove me to a road with a little bit of a hill, stopped in the middle of the hill, pulled off the road and said, "James, take over." We changed places and he said, "Take off." Well, I went through the routine for takeoff, but when I released the handbrake, the car would slide backwards. I would either jump on the brakes again or rev the engine harder and take off with a jerk, and the car would stall. And all Peter said is, "Start again." Winston, we spent 2 days on the hill. He said, if you do not learn how to take off on a hill, you will slide back into the car behind you.
Very true.
Your goal is therefore to take off without the car going back. I discovered that taking off in a car with a manual transmission on a hill required a specific technique. And Peter made sure that I had mastered that. Then he taught me how to listen to the engine of the car to know whether I was in the right gear or not. He said, the sound of the engine will always tell you when to change the gear. By the end of the second week, I had given up trying to measure my success as a driver in training by the distance covered, because I had not covered more than 5 kilometers in 2 weeks. By the second week, I had given myself fully to Peter's approach to teaching me to drive. I had stopped telling my friends that I was learning to drive because I had nothing to show them for the distance I had covered. And instead, I began to focus on the process Peter was taking me through. When I had mastered taking off and stopping, then came the 3-point turn and how to park in very tight spaces. I also had to master the act of reversing. I did not enjoy the first 2 weeks of Peter teaching me to drive because I wanted to measure my progress by distance instead of by mastery. But thank God that Peter just ignored my desire to just cover distances and focus on helping me to learn to have absolute control of the vehicle. When he was satisfied that I was ready, he sent me for my driving test. The test was a breeze for me because thanks to Peter, I had mastered the fundamentals very well. And that included the highway code, traffic regulations, and what have you. 3 weeks after obtaining my license, I was on the road making a trip by myself to Kumasi. And even though I was a new driver, I was very confident because Peter, in curbing my eagerness to just move the car, had given me mastery and control of the vehicle. I was on the road, not as a novice. I was on the road as one who knew exactly what he was doing. Peter's method of teaching me to drive has stayed with me all these years. I did not just learn how to move the vehicle. I learned to drive properly, and I also learned important lessons for life. The most important being patience. Patience to master the fundamentals of and the basics of anything you are doing, and learning how to apply those fundamentals and basics masterfully. Listen, I am worried about the young people of today. I find a lot of young people measuring their progress and success in life by the wrong things. They want overnight success. And they want the kind of success that is measured by the trimmings of success and not necessarily by service and impact. Most of them are judging their success by what they have instead of what kind of people they are becoming and how much they have mastered the principles of life. So a lot of young people enter the job market and they want to own a luxurious car and some expensive toys immediately. They do not understand that certain things come with time and are the fruits of your service and stewardship. Now, just as a lot of drivers refuse to be properly trained and therefore get into avoidable accidents, so it is that a lot of young people subject themselves to a lot of unnecessary stress and pressure just so they can have the things to show for what they think is progress in life. And that is indeed very sad. And Winston, that is my presentation.
Thank you very, very much, Uncle Ebo. We'll take that one. A lot of people start working and overnight they want to be wealthy, they want to be rich. Unfortunately, life doesn't work like that.
They want to be the owner of the company. Can you imagine?
Yes,
they want to be like the guy who employed them.
Life doesn't work like that. Thank you.
No, life doesn't work like that. You have to learn. You have to start learning to eat snail before you move on to something else.
Thank you very, very much, Uncle Ebo White, for joining us with Food for Thought. Hey, this snail matter. Samuel Damis and Tamkas here. Anyway, Roverman Productions, in partnership with the National Theatre and Joy FM, presents an exciting original Ebo White play for Quarter 2, I Slept With Your Wife. And this is a play where told is set in a plane. At the National Theatre, Accra, on the 25th and 26th of June and the 2nd and 3rd of July, 2022. Time is 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. It will be the best of Uncle Ebo's plays ever shown. Early bird tickets for the show is at 80 Ghana cedis and valid for the shows on 25th and 26th June only. And they are on sale at the usual outlets, Shell shops at East Airport, East Legon, Tema Community 11 and Dansoman, Total shops at Bacho and Hacho, Frankie's at Osu and Seychelles, one shop at Accra Mall. The Shell shop is at Airport and East Legon. Now, the sale of early bird tickets will stop on the 5th of June, after which the cost will revert to the usual 100 Ghana cedis. Special offers are available for corporate purchases. For inquiries or orders, call 0505 546 010 or WhatsApp 0505 546 030. Email us at info@rovermanproductions.com. Sponsors Gino Tomato Mix and Total Family Health Organization. Buy your early bird tickets for I Slept With Your Wife now. Roverman Productions, be the difference. Time now for the Joy Business Minute. Is brought to us by Consolidated Bank Ghana, CBG. We stand with you.
Hello, welcome to the Joy Business Minute. It is brought to you by Consolidated Bank Ghana. We stand with you, and NCA Insurance. NCA, the real face of insurance. Interest rates continue to surge ahead of the expected hike in the policy rate of the Bank of Ghana from 17%. This is expected to increase the cost of doing business. The International Monetary Fund has called on government to take tough measures to help check rising inflation. Inflation for the month of April 2022 hit 23.6%, the highest in 18 months. Former Finance Minister said Tekpa is warning of further downgrade of the country's credit rating in the next round of review if Ghana's macroeconomic indicators do not improve. And the price of wheat has jumped on international markets after India banned the export of the staple cereal. The benchmark wheat index rose as much as 5.9% in Chicago, the highest it has been in 2 months. And that's the Joy Business Minute, brought to you by Consolidated Bank Ghana. We stand with you, and NCA Insurance. NCA, the real face of insurance.
And have you been wondering how to get a quick SME loan to grow your business? Stress no more, because CBG is here to offer you a collateral-free SME Smart Loan with comfortable monthly repayment terms. With our SME Smart and Advanced Loan Solutions, you get up to a huge 400,000 Ghana cedis. Oh yes, I mean 400,000 Ghana cedis. Come and experience our tailored SME loan just for you with free business advisory and cash collection services. Remember, the amount is huge, but no collateral or security is required. Kindly walk into any CBG branch near you or reach us on 0302 216 000 and any of our social media handles for more details. Terms and conditions apply. CBG, we stand with you. And on big stories this morning, our focus